Hi everybody, Alex Employer from Expert Forex, and in this video we are launching the free Money Finder Forex robot. Now when doing jigsaw puzzles, it's always very good to have a puzzle that has a lot of detail, different colors. This particular jigsaw shown on the slide is actually quite an easy one because you can sort the colors and do the jigsaw quite easily. And that is what we're trying to get our Forex traders to do, is to see charts a lot clearer than they might be doing at the moment. A lot of people see the charts as this. They don't make sense to them. And in fact, this is one of the most difficult jigsaws in the world. A lot of people think that single color jigsaws are difficult. They are in fact very easy compared to this particular jigsaw. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get Forex traders to have less of a jumbled view of charts and have a much clearer view of charts. The other thing that you'll see today is random trading techniques. Now, I have been doing random trading techniques from virtually the day that I started trading Forex, because I got stopped out and I said, oh, I'm so tired of getting stopped out. How can I avoid this? And I started looking at random ways of trading. And in fact, we have a time of day hedging EA that is so good that we give a 120% money back guarantee if this EA doesn't work. And what it does is it simply enters a buy and a sell at the same time, and over a period of a month it is always successful and profitable. The grid trend multiplier is also an example of random entries. This particular indicator uses a grid system and enters a buy and a sell at the same time, and over time again it is successful. So those are small examples of random entry techniques. So just a few days ago, here we go, on the 30th of January, I published this video, which basically had launch details of this particular EA in place. But what it did give information about are the 6 types of Forex robots out there and how you need to be aware of those 6 types of robots. So the robot we're looking at today, the Money Finder, is an informational robot and it's a training robot. So that's where it fits in. It is not a set and forget plug and play trading robot. If that's the only thing you're interested in, you're watching the wrong video. This is an informational robot and a trading robot. But the information that you get will be amazing, and I must warn you, if you are sitting on a chair, make sure that you've got something soft to land on. What you're going to see today will make you fall out of your chair. That's how amazing the information is that comes out of this particular robot. Okay, so how do we use this robot? Firstly, we use it as a motivation. I have retreats where I have a number of traders coming to stay at my home for a week or so, and we go through various aspects, and this tool is one of the aspects that we start out on, and it is very motivational to see how many trading opportunities there are, and this tool shows you visually the trading opportunities that there are, and it also quantifies the results of taking those trading opportunities. You can also use this tool to test your existing trading technique, and you are in for a big surprise when you see how this is done. And you could also see the price action, how that happens after entries are made into the market. And this is a great tool for opening up your mind and finding new trading techniques. They always say your mind is like a parachute. It only works when it's open. And this tool helps you open your mind. Okay, so very basically, here is the tool, here is the EA, and what it does is it uses the historical charts to identify candles that will be successful buys or successful sells, or both successful buys and sells. And if you look at this chart, there are quite a few here. There's a whole clump of candles that would have been successful as a buy and a sell. There's a few there. a few over here, and a few over here, and so on. So you'll find there are candles that will be successful as buys, successful as sells, and then ones that will be unsuccessful. What do we mean by unsuccessful or successful trades? What this whole EA does is it allows you to decide what kind of take profit you want to apply to the charts and what type of risk or stop loss you want to apply to the charts. Those are the two variations of it, and here you can see in the information section, which I'll go through in a little bit little more detail later on. This particular chart is based on a 40 pip profit and a 60 pip target. So that shows the EA working, and it actually works in real time. You can just leave it on your chart and it will update as it's going along. So let's have a look at the training, motivational and educational aspects of this EA. Firstly, seeing where successful sell trades and successful buy trades and successful combinations of buy and sell trades happen give you a good picture of the charts. As we saw the jigsaw example, this is just showing you a little bit more detail of how trading success happens. And what is really motivational, if you look at the number of successful trades that can occur over a trading period. Now, the biggest success factor is that if we take this period that we're looking at on the screen, and the look back period is 16 days, that's how it works. And what we're doing is we're looking at the take profit of 40 pips and a loss of 60 pips. Now, if you apply that to this particular chart, what it says is that you will, and this is the 15-minute chart, so if you trade every candle as a buy and a sell, so every candle, the open of every candle, you enter a buy and a sell. It says that of the 1,200 candles, 59% will be successful as buys, and 56% will be successful as sells. And because you're earning 40 pips for every successful deal, you'll be generating 29,000 pips there and 27 or 28,000 pips there. Then it says, okay, well, let's look at the ones that haven't resolved themselves for that. For instance, at the end of this chart, there are still open deals that haven't hit the target, haven't hit the stop, and they're still open. So there's still 5% and 7% of the deals still open. But let's have a look at the negative deal. So you've entered a buy and a sell at the same time on every candle. Let's have a look at the negative deal. So it says, okay, 36% of the buys were unsuccessful and 37% of the buys were of the sells were unsuccessful. And there is the count, the actual number of candles, and that is the value. So you just take the stop loss value multiplied by that, and those are the values. So now here is where the motivational and amazing information comes from, is that if you add the positives, take off the negatives, you actually end up positively. Isn't that something to think about? The 15-minute chart obviously results in a huge number of trades. We'll have a look at the 1 hour and the 4 hour that works on the same basis. But that's the idea of this tool. This tool is actually saying to people, and when they see it for the first time, they cannot believe it, that you can actually take any candle on the chart, enter a buy and a sell, and if you do that on a continuous basis, you will be positive if you have the correct balance between take profit and stop loss. And that's just a random number that we've put in there. You can in fact invert that, and it will also be positive. So the whole idea of this tool is to play around with those numbers, to show you and give you a feel of what works and what doesn't work. And especially if you're doing it with different time frames, different currencies and so on, you suddenly develop such a good feel, and you lose the fear of losing, because it is so easy to make money. If you are buying and selling at the same time all the time, then it makes money. Now, the other thing is you don't have to buy or sell. If you start studying these charts, you will find areas where it's safe to just buy and it's safe to just sell. you will find those areas. And by studying it continuously, and that's something you have to do for yourself. Nobody's going to take your hand and say, hey, this is the way you should find. You have to study it, spend a lot of time using this technique. And that's what we do in our retreats. We spend hours studying these charts, and you'll see very soon that it turns people's perception of Forex trading around completely, because the techniques that they are using may not be the best ones around. Anyway, so let's move on with that. This is the next step, is that we then say, all right, well, let's take the charts, put your favorite techniques on there, and then see how the colors of these, now the blue ones are the buys and the red ones are the sells, see how that compares to your favorite techniques, and if you're trading a moving average crossover, yes, that was all very good, but then halfway through the deal it all changes, so you're actually trading the wrong way. Although the price is below the moving average, there it's saying most of the buys are going successfully, buys, and then it says, okay, here's a buy phase. Then it goes into a sell phase, and look, that's actually buy transactions that are successful, not the sell transactions. So this is a huge eye-opener. For instance, there's a typical sell phase that has gone, but in fact it's buy transactions that are successful, not the sell transactions. Let's take that trend line violation up there. It's a sideways head and shoulders there. It breaks out, and then all the transactions after that are only successful if you bought. So only the breakout candle is probably the successful one. Now, it suddenly, when you see this and you experience trader, you realize, oh my goodness, my whole success is relying on me finding one specific candle, whereas there are so many candles that can be successful or unsuccessful, depending on your approach. And then you can filter out. You can see here's a whole batch where both the buys and the sells were successful. So it's quite amazing when people see this for the first, and then they compare it with their RSI techniques, they compare it with their trend line, they compare it with their support and resistance technique. And isn't this funny? I mean, here you've got a support and resistance line, and all the candles that are bouncing against this resistance line are red. Okay, but look at all the ones bouncing against this support and resistance line are green. So people get so shocked when they do this particular analysis for the first time. Basically shows you the weaknesses of indicator-based trading, and also the weaknesses of certain support and resistance and momentum techniques. Now, there's another element to this EA where you can actually ask it to show you the results of your trading, and you can see here that, for instance, the sells that were opened there were only closed over here, and you can see the waiting period that particular sell had to go through in a negative drawdown, and then only over there. And that also opens your mind when you actually see the price action that a typical successful deal goes through. You suddenly realize that trading is not only finding a perfect entry and it going in your direction straight away and hitting your target. There's a lot more, and this is normal for Forex trading, where deals take a long time to mature and be successful. Now, bear in mind, throughout this analysis, what we are looking at are profitable trading results. Now, I'm not saying you must rush out and buy and sell on every candle that you find. I'm basically saying just let this soak in, and then after it's soaked in, see if you can filter out the losing trades and filter in the winning trades, and that will help you Forex trading. Now look, this is a worst case scenario because we're looking at the 15-minute. When you look at the 4-hour chart, you'll see it's a lot less complicated, but I'm just showing you this as an extreme. So the EA is very, very simple. There are only really 3 main inputs. You have to tell it how far back you want to look, and normally you would only look back 2 weeks or 3 weeks, because it is dependent on the quality of your broker history based on either the 1 minute history or the 5 minute history. So a lot of brokers don't have much one minute history, and therefore your look back period is limited. If your 1 minute history is bad, then you have to flip to 5 minutes and use that. Then the target is, as you've seen, you can flip the targets. You can have big targets and small stops and big, and that's the whole idea here, is that you play around with those combinations to see what favorable results you can get. It's a form of optimization, but it's much better done manually. Then the test time frame is basically, you can be trading a 4-hour chart, but it will actually take the 5 minute candles to determine the results. Or you could be using a 4-hour chart and use a 1 minute candle to determine your results. It's an element of accuracy, but it depends again on the quality and quantity of your broker. And then the next setting, and the colors I'm not going to worry about, the draw the trade trainers. As you've seen previously, if you say true, it will actually draw the trading trend lines. If not, which is the preferred one, it will stop cluttering the charts, and you could just put in false and it won't do that. So those are the main inputs for the EA. Now here's an example of some different settings that were used that produce amazing results. Like there was a 15-minute time frame. There's 15-minute. It went over 16 days, and it's now this will differ from currency to currency, from week to week. And what you do is you use this EA continuously, and soon you will identify trends for short-term trading, for long-term trading, for certain currencies. You'll develop trends, and you'll realize what the optimum take profit and stop loss factor is. So what this also says is that the entry is of less important. It's more important that you get the stop loss and take profit ratio right. So that ratio there resulted in a 3,000 pip gain over 16 days. And if you fooled around with those numbers there, you could get it a lot higher. I haven't really done that yet. So then we move to the 1 hour time frame, and you'll see quite a drop from 1,200 to 300 candles, and the drop has happened, and you can see the take profit and stop loss has changed a bit there. And again, really, I haven't optimized this or anything. I've just played around and got the best in say, let's say 4 or 5 tries, and that has given a nice overall 1,200 pip gain over 16 days. Now then we move to the 4 hour, and again I've used controversial take profit and stop loss settings there, 50 for a take profit, 150 for stop loss, and it has resulted in almost 4,000 pips based on only so few candles. So the gain on the 4 hour has been absolutely fantastic, 16 days covered, and that's the kind of thing you can do. You can start playing around with the take profit and stop loss ratio and generate these most fantastic results based on taking a buy and a sell on every single candle. Now the idea of this is not, again, as I say, to tell you to do a buy and a sell on every single candle, but it is a mind-opening process that knowing that will result in a positive trade. It allows you to say, well, if that's allows me to get profit, let's see if I can eliminate those negative trades. There are so many that can be eliminated. Just look at the change in negative trades. If you use large stops, the negative trades were right down to 13% and 9%. If you use larger stops, then it's 30% and 38%. So that you start noticing those ratios, and quite honestly, again, the more you do this, the better you get, the better your ratio findings are, and that's the whole purpose of this particular tool. So let's have a look at it on a chart. So here's the money finder running on the pound yen 4-hour chart. It is looking at 79 trades, and there are the ratio. It's more or less what you've seen before, and the overall result is quite good. Now this information box is quite handy. You can fold it away if you want, and you can actually move it wherever you want it to go. So that's quite handy. You can even make it smaller, and you can make it bigger if you want. So it's a very handy box. You can also download the EA versions of the EA, upgrades of the versions from over there. So it's very handy, and it does the analysis for you. It tells you how many candles have closed, how many are have closed positively, how many have closed negatively, and how many are still open with no results. So for instance, there are candles there that are still open on the sell basis, but not on the buy basis. Some of them have already cashed in on the buy basis, and because we're only covering 16 days, you won't see any results for those that are further than 16 days away. So that gives you an idea of how the EA sits on the charts. So the whole idea here is just to play around with this EA, loaded on different currencies, loaded on different charts, different time frames, and experience how you can manipulate the take profit and stop losses to create really positive result from your analysis. Now, it is the kind of tool that you need to play with. There is no instruction. This is the instruction manual. There's nothing that says you must do this, you must do this, you must do that. This tool is for you to play around with and to convince yourself that there are so many trading opportunities out there in the market. Sometimes the trading techniques that you are using do not actually catch the potential of the candles that have the potential to go positive, and it will also make you rethink the way you trade and look at the charts and say, hey, if I did this and did this, I could eliminate the negative trades and I could actually be quite successful. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the limitation really is on the quantity and quality of your broker's history. If your 1 minute is very limited, or your 5 minute history is very limited, you're going to not be able to test this in a long-term basis. Now, how do you download this EA? Really, I think it's worthwhile downloading, specifically because it's free. So you've got nothing to lose. So you go down to our forum. It's the forum on the Money Making Forex Tools forum, and you go down to the free indicator and download and tools download. There is the Money Finder. You just go there, and there is the download. But please have a look at the training material, the supporting material, and ask any questions, make any comments, and discuss this technique, this EA. Now, I hope you found this EA interesting and really has opened your minds to the potential of trading the Forex market. Now, I must point out that this free EA is only free for 28 days. It expires on the 29th of February. So go and download it. Use it as much as possible. And on the 29th of February, depending on the feedback that we get, we will either upgrade the EA, we might even make it a EA that you need to purchase, but it all depends on the feedback that we get from the clients that are using the robot. So please bear in mind, it is only free for 28 days. So from me, Alex Deploy, cheerio.